He's into Brandon Como's favorite day. By the way,
I wish we'd run right into it.
I know you are. You were just ease right into it. By the way, I got an award-winning producer.
Oh man,
on an unawarded program.
Oh man,
often talked about.
Yeah.
A lot of four-letter words fly my way. I just kind of duck on most of them. Anyway. Yeah, that's probably because I'm such a nice guy. And that's what I figured. It just being such a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, 844-766-6607. Hickson has it Highline. Yeah, that's why I can enjoy life so much. As my dad taught me, son, learn to laugh at yourself. Why's that, Dad? Everybody else is laughing at you, son. You may as well enjoy yourself. All right, we got a lot of stuff to.
People are texting you already, man. Go.
That's been going on for a while.
You just started.
I know, but I nearly turned it off. I apologize. All right, a lot of stuff, sexual harassment bill. I'm kind of laughing. I got an example that I want to use in this. Brandon would turn red, but that's okay.
Oh, man.
Courier, great piece on the failure of Mitch Landrieu, who, by the way, Brandon, they're celebrating May 7th. Mitch Landrieu's gone. Woo! I mean, New Orleans, you talk about ought to break into a party and have a heap good time. Mitch Landrieu's will not be running the city anymore as he runs for president. But anyway, Courier really lays him out. That the GOP House members are seeking for votes on the budget with the budget cuts. I hope they vote for it. Send it to the Senate. Send it over to the master, the magician, John Alario. Now, which takes me to this. Brandon, I know you saw this. I saw it and read it. And it was in the rundown in the Advocate today.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what Melinda Dessler, you all know that I'm not fond of the guy I think is running the state who's still sitting around. His name is John Alario. He's called a magician, a grown-up in the room. Although he's been there 46 years, nothing's been fixed. Although he's been there 46 years, he's not helped us in education, road work, on our retirement system. He's not helped us in jobs and job growth and people coming out of poverty and inner cities getting better. He's helped us in nothing. There's not one category he's helped us with, but he's helped the state politically embarrass ourselves for 40 years, 50 years, whatever it's been. So Melinda Desolate, however you want to say her name, she tweeted, and Brian, I'm taking this as a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
She tweeted, heard in Louisiana legislature, quote, I'm not used to making deals in public. I'm very uncomfortable. Senator John Alario said to the joint budget meeting. See, Brandon, this is where the crab stew starts kicking in. This is where crab prices go up. Because he did say before he likes to get people over at the Pentagon Barracks or whatever you call it, and he likes to cook crab stew and visit with people. But this said a lot. I wish I had this on audio. Quote John Alario, I'm not used to making deals in public. Well, that's kind of funny that a man that everybody is scared to death of and lobbyists are scared to death of and politicians are scared to death of and governors are scared to death of, journalists are scared to death of, and everybody but me, I must be the only fool in the whole state because I'm not. I'm not used to making deals in public. Remember, folks, let me take you back. I've said all along, if you listen to this program, John Alario is not a leader. What did I say he was?
A deal maker.
Thank you, Brandon. Brandon Como, go to shucks.
I think I'll do that, man.
All right, Brandon. Take your wife by you.
Yeah. All right.
But, Brandon, I've said it enough is why you said it. If I said it one time, you might not remember, but I've said it probably 100,000 times. He's a deal maker out of his own mouth. I'm not used to making deals in public, and that's why he sits at top. He's not used to making deals in public. It's in the closed, dark rooms with crab stewing, where he cuts his deals, and we've given this man this power, and he hadn't fixed one thing. Higher education funding, why don't y'all go to John Alario? Roads, go to John Alario. Corruption, go to John Alario. I mean, I every time his name pops up, and then this popped up, Melinda Desolate said, I've heard in Louisiana legislature, I'm not used to making deals in public. Well, you know what? Every penny of the $30 billion that Cameron Henry and the gang got out the committee the other day, Appropriations Committee, that $30 billion is taxpayers' dollars. That's public business. Why can't you make deals out in the public, Mr. Alario? I'll tell you why. Because you benefit yourself and your family members and your buddies in the legislature and your buddies in business. I've never said Alario was a liar. When he said, I'm going to be a Republican and turn to the Republican Party, he turned to the Republican Party and said, well, I can't be Senate president if I'm not Republican. In other words, Bobby Jindal's going to help me be the Republican senator. There were even words out there, Brandon, I hate to say this, I'm going to say it, that if David Vitter had won the election, David Vitter was going to leave him alone too. If this man's so good, and this man's so awesome, and this man's so good for the state, how come we last in everything? Or first in things we'd like to be last in? He's not a leader. He's never been a leader. He takes your money and our money, my money, everybody's money, and he cuts deals. And I'll quote him again. Quote, I'm not used to making deals in public. And did I coin him or not by saying he was a deal maker, not a leader? And that's what he is. But we let him make all the deals on all this money that we have for the state, and he wants it in private. I'm not used to making deals in public with other people's money. I like to make it in private so nobody knows what I get, my family members get, my friends get. That's all. This is why we have the problem. We ought to make John Alario, if he's such a godly man, and he's to be trusted, why should he make every deal out in public? It's our money. He's dealing with our laws. He's dealing with our money. I'm not used to making deals in public. I'm very uncomfortable. I bet you are. You've been making deals for 46 years in private while we get screwed, while we have out-migration, while our education system's 50th again, or 51st, if you put Washington, D.C. in there. And our roads aren't fixed. But old Johnny boy's making the deal and behind closed doors. When I saw this, Brandon, I got it right before you sent it to me. Then I said, you know what? I went through the Advocate, and I found it in the Advocate. So this is not something I made up. Melinda Desolate, she's the one who wrote it. She tweeted it out. These journalists, Elizabeth Crisp, everybody's going back and forth. So we got the deal maker. And folks, the Louisiana citizens have got the raw end of these deals that John Alario's not comfortable making in public, but it's our money. You know, folks, it would be like somebody would come to your house and say, let me take care of your money for you. And everything he does with your money, you don't know nothing about it. You just have to watch the results. And if the results were our state government and what's happening in our state, you would fire them and kick them the hell out the house. But number one is you're not going to let somebody come in and handle. Brandon, you're not going to let somebody come in and say, okay, Brandon, you and your wife, give me your money, I'm going to handle it for you. And Brandon, everything they're going to do is going to be behind closed doors because I'm not comfortable making deals in front of y'all. Would you tell a guy, hey, you can get the heck out of my house right now? Oh, no, not us. We put our arms around John Alario. We made him Senate President, Speaker of the House. One day I'm going to tell y'all what I really think about this man. But the problem is we have legislators that put their arms around this man. And they believe in this man because he can make deals. He makes things happen with your money and mine. That's what's so frustrating. When I read that, and he's not very uncomfortable. In other words, I want to do it making crab stew that he didn't even pay for. Some lobbyist probably bought the crab. That's why crab prices always shoot up when the legislative session's in. John Alario is making crab stew. He said that in an article one time. That's what frustrates me. When people like that, 46 years, lobbyists. I know lobbyists that wouldn't put my name down there, but boy, they'll, well, you know, you got to go through Big John. You got to go. Why? Because he's a deal maker. He's not a leader. He's a deal maker. And he says it himself. I'm not used to making deals in public. I'm very uncomfortable. Folks, this is I'm going to probably post this. You can find it on the Advocate online. I'm holding it right here in my hands. And I'm just appalled. I'm just appalled that this deal maker for 46 years, he's given us a raw deal. He's been a bad deal. And by the way, he's going to run for the House again. He's going to be in there 50-something years to keep making it. Probably wants to be Speaker of the House, and we got enough legislators dumb enough to do it. Republicans are doing it. Republicans put him in as Senate president. We know in the Senate now, you don't even know how they vote now, Brandon. Why is that? Because John Alario's sitting there. By the way, that vote for Senate president, that's our vote. That's a public vote. That's a public vote. Anyway, I wanted you to know that, folks. Old Alario's still out there cutting deals with your money and your future. We'll be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. All righty. By the way, Hickson Autoplex tomorrow in Alexandria, Louisiana. Dallas will be joining us. Looking forward to it. It's always a lot of fun. And we get to talk cars and politics. And they always hit me with ULM, by the way. Tech. Always.
I don't want to hear the words tech today.
No, not baseball fans down here don't want to hear that name, I promise you. All right. That's another story for tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then again, they'll be winning that story. I won't be able to defend the cages on that. Man. All right. Oh, by the way, keeping in line of Alario, they did an editorial today. I mean, maybe it was yesterday. What's today, the 19th, Brandon?
Yep.
It's yesterday. Premature budget threat in colleges. And there we go again. Representative Cameron Henry, who we had on the other day, said, we're going to base the budget on the money we have coming in. A responsible budget with the dollars we have coming, which, by the way, is right. They say the bill is not responsible because it relies only on the dollars available right this minute. Now, Brandon, the press is saying it's not responsible because it only relies on the dollars this minute. That's what you have. At your household, you don't go, well, we're going to buy a new car. We don't have the money right now, but we're going to buy a new car. So they already pounding the Republicans. And he's only made a budget, based on what you have. So if you have $1,000, you can't base a budget on $1,500. You just can't do it. So anyway, but here's the part that I'm talking about in this little snapshot of this editorial, and I'll come back to this later. I'm going to do it one paragraph. Listen to this. Remember Alario in this scenario. Governor Bill Edwards, and you ready for this? Responsible Republican leaders like Senate President John Alario, Republican or West we go, argued that the best is to revisit the question of the fiscal cliff in a special session at the end of the regular session, but before the end of the fiscal session. By the way, Brandon, they're trying to cut it off so they don't have to stay as long. So they're claiming they're saving us money. But you notice what the press does? Remember I told you everybody's scared of him? Everybody giving him credit? That's why when somebody like that turns Republican, that was a big, bad deal with Bobby Jindal. He turns Republican. He's no more Republican. He's better off to be a socialist than he is any kind of Republican. But anyway, but he puts Republican by his name, just like Big Lake Fannin. It's a joke. Responsible Republican leaders like John Alario. Well, let me ask a question about this responsible deal cutter. Was it responsible to vote for all 8 of Bobby Jindal's budgets? Do you realize all 8 years Alario was in the Senate? He's been there almost 12 now. This is his 11th year. He was the Senate president for the last 6.5. He was Senate president in Jindal's last year. He was sitting right there leading the charge as a senator the whole time. He voted for 6 of Bobby Jindal's budget. And if you read the newspaper, Bill Edwards inherited Bobby Jindal's budget. That John Alario voted for not one, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, not 6 times. I know I sound like Dwayne Wade. Not 7 times, 8 times.
And LeBron James.
Yeah, LeBron James. That's right. They're going to win 92 championships. But what's amazing, Alario got all these bad votes. Alario's made all these deals. He's led the charge for higher ed. He led the charge. Too many universities. All these he's been there 46 years. He's been voting for education reform for 46 years, and we ain't seen it yet. Out-migration's been heavily under his watch. What did he do to stop it? Nothing. He's a deal maker. All the stuff that you see around the state of Louisiana, he cut the deals. He's a deal maker. So he's making the deals. And the deals are bad for you and me, bad for the citizens, bad for the state. But old John Alario, they got a whole arena or whatever named after him in the West Bank. So they say it's named after his dad, but his dad happened to be John Alario, by the way, Brandon. Responsible Republican leaders who like to raise taxes on people. Alario's been doing that since he's been in the legislature. The deal maker has been there making deals, and it's one bad deal after another. Tyler Bridges, press secretary for Bell Edwards. What was it? Bad Bet on the Bayou. I think that was the name of his book, one of his books, Bad Bet on the Bayou. Well, they ought to write another one about Alario, Bad Deal on the Bayou. And he's been a bad deal. But yet there he is, in the press, scared to death of him. Responsible Republican leaders like John Alario. Responsible. Who gave us Bobby Jindal's 8 budgets. Who gave us one-time money being used. Who gave us mid-year budget cuts over and over and over again. That's the responsible John Alario. He gave us this over and over and over and over again. The high taxes, not fixing roads, John Alario. Another deal was cut to put money somewhere else, John Alario. I'm sick of hearing his name. Brandon's just eating me, text me. Well, quit saying it.
The thought did cross my mind.
Hey, by the way, it crossed mine too when I said quit. When I said, I'm laughing to keep from crying. The deal maker. Yeah, he makes the deals and Louisiana gets the bill. He makes the deal, we get the bill. And he laughs to the bank, and me and you watch our family members leave and struggle. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to visit with some business people. We're going to visit with some common sense when we get back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back. My award-winning producer might get fired. Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, heard around the great state of Louisiana, parts of Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi. We're going to jump gears. We're going to talk a little business. Y'all hear me brag about Sirius Technologies and Cummins generators for a while. Got Peter Vadrine, who's been on the program before with Sirius. Good morning, first of all.
Good morning, and thanks for having us.
Mr. George Yarka.
Good morning.
Did I get close?
You got very well.
Yes. I want you to be. That was if I'd have missed it, Brandon was fired.
No problem there. No,
the reason Brandon was fired is you might fire me. So I don't want that to happen.
No, you're all good.
Anyway, great to see you guys, and of course, been bragging about Sirius Technology for a while. I've been running my mouth for y'all for a little while. How's business?
And it's working.
Well,
it's
good,
working.
Good. I want it to work for y'all.
Keep increasing, and
that's good. That's good.
So
this time of year, guys, hurricanes. I mean, they start talking about hurricanes, scare the heck out of everybody. We start talking about people flooding and things of that nature. Right now, we start talking about it. We get into that time of year, and generators, man, they're very important.
Oh, yeah, that'll help. A generator will help you prevent all the risks of a hurricane.
But, it's a little different. Used to, in the old days, people would run out by generators when they needed them. I'm not saying we still don't do that because we do. But now, the way y'all set up, and I want you to come talk, George, a little bit about Cummins generators, but now you can pre-do all this stuff, which will get you through a storm and maybe through weeks and maybe months of not having, electricity and stuff. And they can talk a little bit about
absolutely. First of all, thank you for having us here, and thank you, Peter, for bringing us down. Being prepared for a hurricane is really important. Cummins is very focused on preparing our audience about the risks of losing power, material losses or life losses. It could be a critical loss for a family. So we're putting a lot of effort into preparing people for the risks of a hurricane.
Yeah, no doubt. But, and I know y'all read about the great floods that we've had down here, too. So it's a little bit more. And I know y'all have got involved in it a lot of times, but it's a lot more in hurricanes now. I mean, 2 years ago in August, was it 2 years ago, man?
August 2016.
We had this rain thing coming through, and then the rain just sat there and twirled on us. It wasn't a hurricane, and it flooded everything. But somebody with a generator that stayed up above, I mean, my God, that's what y'all trying to help people avoid.
Absolutely.
Well, like where we live, we're in a new home and stuff, and Slimco made it crystal clear to us that if they suspect at any time that the water levels are going to reach up to the transformer, and this is on an on-ground transformer, they shutting off electricity. You own your own. And even though it was unrelated, just this weekend I was on power, was on our generator for about 6 hours. The reason I ended up before I was involved with Cummins, I had to get a generator for flooding reasons because I had to build a levee around my house, and I wanted to make sure that if during a hurricane we lost electricity, that I wouldn't be a soup bowl. And I spent a lot of time researching this, and Cummins was my only option. And I had shopped around a bit.
That was before you were selling.
Yeah, and Cummins, through our partnership with our channel partners like Sirius Technologies, we are focused on helping people go through those issues. We have recently completed our product portfolio. So we have between 13 kilowatts and 150, we have a complete natural gas product portfolio designed for preventing the risks of loss of power for a variety of applications, whether it is for a residential application, it could be for a small business, like a gas station or a medical clinic.
I got to tell you, like a radio station. These radio stations, a lot of them, and Brandon, you got to fill me in. My gut feelings, we have generators here because you got your news people that cover these stories and storms and things that come up, and they got to stay up to let people know what's going on. Absolutely. So that's the kind of stuff y'all do. It's not only residential. Yes. Commercial-wise, y'all big into.
I mean, another example would be farms, right? We have a dedicated product line for farms, and like whether they're animal farms or fish farms or chicken farms, where our product would ensure that material losses won't happen. Imagine losing a livestock of chicken. It's a huge expense.
Like you said, fish. I got a friend of mine he has these fish ponds. I mean, and things can happen with floods and all that stuff. And he's got aerators and all that stuff. So I can see where that comes in big. Now, I know y'all do homes, y'all do businesses and things of that nature. Any other kind of generators? And I do want you to mention how people can get in touch with y'all.
Yep.
So they can find out about everything.
Sure. That kind of calls for a description of what markets Cummins is playing into. So Cummins is playing into a wide variety of markets. It's widely known for the engines we build, right? For nearly a century, Cummins has been providing engines for a variety of applications on highway, like the trucks that use Cummins engines. It's widely known among the population for the light-duty trucks. I won't name brands, but there's Cummins.
I will.
I told y'all better sit back over there.
No, seriously, anybody out there listening, look at a Ram diesel. Ram is so enamored with the Cummins engines, they slap on the Cummins logo, and the same things with the Nissan. Nissan, they tell you, hey, we've got a Cummins engine in here, and there's a reason for that.
Thank you, Peter.
Cummins is, I mean, it's exceptional.
Yep.
That's why I got a Cummins.
Absolutely.
Before I was selling Cummins, I wanted a Cummins, and we've never had an issue.
That really leads me to a comment. We're taking all this experience of 100 years in all those markets. We're leveraging that experience into the home and small business market sector. We launch generators for this market that are put through the industrial level of testing and reliability development that the commercial grade product is going through. So this is where I think we get an edge in this market because we leverage all those resources. On the channel to market perspective, this is where we need partners like Sirius because we rely on them to put the product out in front of our customers. So thank you, Peter.
Well, I know Peter and Mike. Sirius fits their name. They're serious. They want to take care of you, and these guys will fight. They believe in your product that much. And it's easy to realize how much they like Cummins.
They're serious.
I'm just being like that. That's right. They got the right name for that.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the problems that people do, people have short-term memories, and you know that from the political side, they forget.
I know that when I talk to my wife.
But I will always remember during Hurricane Lily, there were portions of Eunice that were still out of electricity after 5 weeks, and
that's tough, guys.
What are you going to do if you don't have your own source of power? I remember during Lily, fortunately, at the time, I didn't have a generator, but we were only down 3 days because Slimco powers us, and they were exceptional. But I had to really quick go find one of these little portable ones and use these huge
it can be as simple as the refrigerator and the freezer being out a couple of days. And I don't care what you say. If you put if your freezer is stacked with any kind of food. You lose all that. Is a mess.
Yes.
And the refrigerator is a mess. And everybody likes to take a hot shower.
Absolutely.
Well, guess what? With our electricity, cold shower in November probably is not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, no, we're definitely very proud of our channel partners. Anywhere you are in the state of Louisiana, you'll get a reliable partner.
I just want to say for our audience, and we get into Texas, part of Mississippi, and Arkansas too. You can get Cummins. That's
Absolutely.
not a problem. And
Absolutely.
there's a deal. I know we give out a number they can call, but y'all can get somebody to service them right there in the area they're in right now today.
That's our job, to support the business. So
Anywhere's in Louisiana.
yes,
Yeah, that's why I said that.
And wherever you grow into, we can reach them.
Oh, no doubt about it. So, well, look, website, anything you want to give out to let people know where they can go to and find out more about Cummins and of course,
SiriusUSA.com, and we have links to Cummins if they want to go look at directly.
So they go look at everything going through your website then, okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good then because, I mean, I know I've been around these guys and I know they love your product, but I was on the phone with a couple of you guys and I think it was you too. I know I was on with you one time. And I like the knowledge that y'all have on this. And if people will call and get in touch with these guys, they're very knowledgeable.
Yeah, you can access Cummins at homegenerators.cummins.com where you can get information about our product line and find a link to a partner that can install the product for you.
Well, we highly recommend them, and I believe these guys, so I believe in you guys. But I know I did not realize. I learned something new today. Been around over 100 years, and I got advertisers. I talk about J&J exterminating some of these people that have been around for 50 and 60 years. You don't stay around that long if you didn't adjust to the times and the technology for 100 years. You don't. And then after 100 years, you might know a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. We sure take pride in that.
Yeah, people can call me about generators all day long. I'm telling them to call Peter and them.
We thank you for that, Moon.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck, and I advise anybody if you're looking for a home generator for your business or whatever, call these guys because they're going to get you in touch with somebody that can help you right in the area that you're in, and boy, you can't beat that. All right, guys. God bless. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, that's it. Just
Mike didn't even bring the crawfish. We had crawfish last night. I didn't bring none.
they were good. I'll just say that.
That's why they make ice chests.
Well, you were invited.
Yeah, I know I was, but
you'll get
being a family guy, having a wife and kids, and they got something going on, and I did that over you. I thought that was a smart thing to do. Now maybe it wasn't.
That's okay. Next time we have one, bring your wife and kids.
I can handle that as well. By the way, say you're going to bring Brandon. You're going to get mad.
Yes, definitely.
Well,
Hey, remember, he's an award-winning producer. I just do the Moon Griffon show.
But look, every time they look at a Ram, every time they look at a Nissan and they see Cummins, think about Sirius.
All right, you got it, guys. All right, thank you very much. Quick break. Be back. More to come. You're listening to the Moon Griffon show. A lot more to come, folks. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us, folks. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline if you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. All righty. I hope the GOP passes the budget. And this is why. I know there's some cuts in there and people are upset. And already two Republicans. One is Bubba Cheney. Let's get some jobs in here. Bubba's not going to support the budget. And the other one is, I ain't raising taxes. You know why Rob Shadwan doesn't like the budget? You ready? Because it doesn't raise enough taxes. From a man who said, I ain't raising taxes. Yeah. They even say that Rob Shadwan, a rusting Republican who often bucks the GOP delegation, well, no, he become a Democrat. He opposes the spending plan as is written because he needs more tax dollars, Brandon, from a man who hates raising taxes. I mean, gee whiz. Robert Johnson of Marksville, a Democrat, says the spending plan's immoral because it doesn't spend much money, Brandon. It only spends $30 billion, so it doesn't spend enough money, so it's immoral.
Isn't he the new leader of the Democratic caucus?
It sure is.
Yep.
But it doesn't spend enough money. Richard Corbo, governor, would veto the bill. They spent $30 billion now. I want to $30 billion. He's already said this bill has no chance of becoming law. The governor said, and he's encouraging the legislature to rally behind a plan that can generate bipartisan support that adequately funds programs the people of Louisiana consider to be priorities. In other words, raise taxes. This is the most raised taxing governor I've ever seen. I've never seen a governor. The only thing ever comes out of his mouth is let's raise taxes or protect the LGBT. Those are the two things that he does. So it's simple when you watch it. Cameron Henry did the responsible thing. He took the dollars that are available, and he made a budget. Nobody likes it. So you notice how they name that Rob Chadbourne often votes against the Republicans. John Alario is a responsible Republican leader who voted for all those Jindal budgets. Jay Darden, commission administrator or co-governor. There's not enough money to do everything that is important to the people of the state. Darden, well, then let's run a poll. But they already run a poll saying we don't want to pay no more taxes. So what are you talking about, Jay? Jay Darden playing the same game he's been playing for a long time. And by the way, see, there's a little gamemanship. Cameron Henry sends almost $700 million to health and hospitals, and then it's Bell Edwards and his people have to determine what to cut, and they blame the Republicans. Here's another thing, because of that report the lying report that came out and said Medicaid was a job producer. They say in this thing that they're going to have to cut in health and hospitals. That means a lot of jobs, well-paid jobs in the healthcare side, for the impact of cutting access to doctors and hospitals for family dependents on them. So here we go. This is nothing new to the average person that's watching it. Nothing. And that's also the frustration, is that we have to have some leaders. It's not coming from the governor. The co-governorship is a failure. The co-governorship of Darden, a Republican, and John Bel Edwards, the Democrat, the co-governorship didn't work. It failed. It shows no leadership. It only shows that we want to keep doing what we've been doing. We got to have more money. HB1 today, it will be heard. The governor Democrats want to kill it. The vote's going to be really close. They need 53 votes. Send it to the Senate. If I'm a House member, I send it to the Senate. Every healthcare group is telling the legislature right now, and I'm getting this as we speak, that we are closing the doors as House Bill 1 is passed. $30 billion budget is passed, and they still keep saying we're going to close the doors. That's what the Democrats and Edwards and the press and all the health hospitals and health people are saying. Folks, I know I want to have a place people can go that are poor and can't then fend for themselves. That should be few and far in between. But it's not. Why is it not? 40% of our people on Medicaid, out of the 40% that are on Medicaid, how many people could be working right now? I bet it's a big percentage. That's what we're against. It's so expensive doing it the way we're doing it. And we don't want to change that, so the answer is just to get more money. Now, some of you people think I'm probably anti-tax. I don't know where you would get that from. I'm really not anti-tax. I've never protested taxes. I've never not paid what I had to pay. Nothing to do with that. It's just getting to a point that the federal government's $21 billion in the hole and broke. They only have a printing press, the states don't. Our state government's been broke and busted since I've been doing this for 25 years. I don't care who the governor's been. Bel Edwards and Darden, the co-governorship's not working. It's a failure. Failure of total leadership. They're not changing anything. They just want more money. Tell me, if we give them another $500 million in tax money, what's changed? What's going to change? The road's going to be fixed with another $500 million. Education going to go from 50th to 1st, or 10th, or 20th. Our migration is going to stop overnight. People are not going to leave. Our job creation is going to get better. The oil and gas companies are going to come back because the Edwards buddies and the lawsuits are going to go away. Tell me what's gotten better. What's going to get better? Health and hospitals now will be able to afford everything they possibly can between now and the next 10 years. Tell me what they're doing has made it better. And when you can show me that, I'll go with them. But if the answer is only money, and it is, it's not the answer. If you have a spending problem, money's not going to help your spending problem. We don't want to deal with nothing. We don't want to adjust nothing because what we have is John Alario dealing. He's very uncomfortable dealing in the public. That's his words, not mine. He's not used to making deals in public. He's used to buying crab and making crab stew and charming somebody to vote for the way he thinks. That's not a leader. That's a deal maker. He's one of the people that they keep saying he was called yesterday in the Advocate a responsible Republican, a guy who voted for 8 in a row budgets that Bobby Jindal and them got through. It's amazing how we blame Jindal for budgets, but we don't blame Edwards for budgets. We just give him a pass and say he inherited it from Jindal. Well, if Alario voted with Jindal and supported him every year, how is it not Alario that led the charge against everything? He led our failure. He led us to our failure because he's a deal maker. He's not a doer. John Alario is not a doer. He's a deal maker. Give him some money and some crab stew and watch out. He's a charmer. Darrell Peacock from the Shreveport area is a perfect example of what I meant. He voted against Alario for Senate president, the only one. That's all Alario got to do, and that dude comes and running. Unbelievable. Anyway, we get sexual harassment, Mitch Landrieu. Why are the pro-gambling measures all pretty much on hold? I'll tell you that when we get back as well. All right. We're going to take a break. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. We will be right back. Don't go nowhere, folks. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Hey, just for people interested, Grow Louisiana Coalition, all in the natural gas advocacy group, made up of more than 73,000 supporters, is hosting the annual All in Natural Gas Industry Day this Tuesday, April 24th. Starts at noon, take place at the A.Z. Young Park on the state capitol grounds in Baton Rouge. At the free luncheon, attendees will have the opportunity to meet with legislators, network with industry professionals, and learn the latest about the state of the industry in Louisiana across the country. Mark Mendez is going to be there. U.S. Department of Energy Undersecretary of Energy, the Honorable, will be featured speaker at the event. So they will also have an LSU undergraduate and law school alumni will speak about the importance of energy and industry and give insights to the Trump administration's vision of the future. So they got a lot of stuff going on, folks, that this would really be something that if you want to attend, you have to RSVP. They ask you to do it now. Here it is, growlouisianacoalition.com. growlouisianacoalition.com. Anyone invited or interested in all the natural gas industry is encouraged to attend. You can register on site on April 24th. Free parking's available at the Hollywood Casino in Baton Rouge, 1717 River Road, and a shuttle will take you from the park. If you want more information about the big event, info at growlouisianacoalition.com. Info at growlouisianacoalition.com. This is for Tuesday, April 24th. Annual All in Natural Gas Industry Day this Tuesday in Baton Rouge. Once again, AZ Young Park on the state capitol grounds in Baton Rouge. You can RSVP growlouisianacoalition.com. If you want more info, it's info at growlouisianacoalition.com. All right. We're supposed to have a guest on, so if we get him, we'll put him right on. Anyway, we'll let you know more about this. And if you're going down the road and want to know more about it, just email me, moon@moongriffon.com, moon@moongriffon.com, and we'll take care of you and get that done for you. All righty. I'm trying to figure something out. Once again, anti-sexual harassment legislation, $5.1 million paid in the last decade. Why does the state government have to pay for sexual harassment if the individual did this? You know, the taxpayers are paying for something that one person has done. And by the way, in this article, they did mention that the Johnny Anderson, former deputy chief of staff for Governor Bel Air, was actually put his name in it this time. We paid $85,000. He said he was not guilty. But why should me and you, the taxpayers, have to pay that bill? Well, we didn't do anything. In Washington, D.C., it's millions and millions, and they've kept it under lock and key, so we can't find out exactly who, what, when, and where. But why should we have to pay that as well? I mean, I work in a private company, Brandon, and let's say Brandon sexually harassed me.
Excuse you?
By the way, this might not be a good example.
No, I don't think this is a good example at all.
But let's just say it happened. Something happened like that.
I'd rather not say that it happened, but okay.
By the way, I should have. That's a bad example.
Yeah, that's a terrible example.
Okay, let me use this example. Somebody sexually harassed at a business we had at a business you're at. Okay. They find the person that did it. And whether he admits he done it, you fire him. Now, this would be like the employer, whoever the employer is, Brandon, would come and say, okay, Brandon and Moon, we fired old JoJo over here. JoJo got fired for sexual harassment. But the person working here agreed they won't sue if we settle with them for $20,000. Now, what if the boss said, okay, I'm taking that out of y'all paychecks to pay for this, even though we had nothing to do with it? Would you be happy about that?
That would hurt.
Well, what's the difference? They're taking our tax dollars and paying for sexual harassment. You see what I'm saying? Don't you? I'm trying to bring it home to everybody. I'm trying to bring it home because, by the way, Brian, I mean, you sexually harassed me. That just kind of slipped out.
Yeah, but don't bring it home like that, man.
No, but what I'm saying, it brings it home because if you're at a business and it happens, and Brandon, that person gets fired, if the boss brought everybody in your business right now and said, look, JoJo's gone. I don't think we got a JoJo that works here. So JoJo's gone. But to settle harassment, the young lady over here said she'll quit the charges and everything. She wants $20,000, and the company's gonna pay her the $20,000. Why should the company comes to you and says, we're taking $100 out of your paycheck for the next, I don't know, 3 months to pay this off? Would you be happy with that? And the answer would, you wouldn't be happy. You'd be kind of mad, wouldn't you?
Right.
Well, what's the difference in taxpayers' dollars paying for somebody else that did that? You see what I'm saying? They're taking your money.
Yep.
And in Washington, D.C., it was millions and millions of dollars. Here, it's only $5.1 million, only. So they're trying to come up with laws to stop some of this, but I think if the person has done that, Brandon, and you can't find anybody going to the company saying, look, would you get this guy off of me? Then the companies or the state shouldn't be held liable. That person ought to be held liable. Not the and I think you, and by the way, Brandon, let me go one step further. I think you have to prove it too.
Yeah.
I don't think you can just accuse somebody like we see in the paper and everybody's quitting and doing it. If you're going to accuse somebody, then you have to prove it. And I know some of that stuff's hard to prove. But you can't let anybody just say anything either. But I don't think the company, or in this state, in this case, the state or the federal government should pay for sexual harassment. Somebody should pay. I'm not saying that. Somebody is found guilty, then they ought to have to pay, but not the company, not the state, not the federal government. I find that amazing that you got people in government, in this case, Johnny Anderson, John Bel Air was his former deputy chief of staff. The state agreed last month to pay $85,000 to settle the claim. Johnny Anderson, I know he's not working there anymore. Okay, so he lost his job, but what else did he lose? But we out of money and we didn't even do anything. We did nothing. We did nothing wrong. And that's why I wanted to bring it home, like joking about Brandon, but I'm just saying, if a business, somebody's in your business and you got a guy, a lady, whatever does this, I just think I find it hard really find this to be hard to accept that the company has to pay or the state has to pay or the federal government has to pay. It had nothing to do with it. It'd be same thing as a company going to all of employees and saying, look, I'm sorry, man, we got to pay $20,000, $50,000 for this deal. And the only way I can pay for it is take it out of everybody's paycheck. I'm worried about where we're going with all this stuff. Why should the federal government, and it's in the millions and millions, and nobody would ever know, all that stuff's being hid up in Washington. How come they got to hide that? How come they can't tell us what really happened? And how come they can't really tell us how much has really been spent for sexual harassment and things of that nature in Washington, D.C.? And I don't care if it's a congressman, senator, or somebody that's the head of a department. Why shouldn't they have to pay it? It's kind of crazy that we just cut checks. And I tell you what we do. We cut checks, really, to make it go away. By the way, Brandon, Mike says he didn't get the email. Just tell him what he said. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. All right. The pro-gambling measures have basically been held back right now. I think one is headed to the full house. But some stuff has been stopped. Sponsors of 2 bills sought by owners of the floating casinos continue to lack the votes they need to pass the measures. State Senator Ronnie Casino Johns signaled that he didn't want the Senate on Wednesday to consider the bill to allow 15 floating casinos to operate the landside because they don't have enough votes. Minutes later, Senator Bodie White of Central, who chose not to hear the bill to permit Diamond Jack's Casino to move from Bossier City to Tangipahoa Parish, just east of Hammond. They're both scheduled for Monday. John said a couple of his votes were missing on Wednesday. Everybody's acting like Gerald Long. But you know why I think they don't? I would have thought this would have flew by already. People are starting to see, and legislators are being told, this is the expansion of gambling. It is a gigantic expansion of gambling. And they're being told, and you got lawmakers now looking up going, well, my constituents don't know about this. Is not expansion of gambling that Ronnie Casino Johns tried to tell them. That moving a casino from Bossier City to Tangipahoa is not an expansion of gambling, and I think that's the holdup. You got some elected officials that people that get on them, they won't expand all this stuff. I didn't think we were in the fight. Looks like we're still in it. All right, we'll take a break. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back.
I couldn't play that song again.
Too many nuts coming in here. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Griffon Show. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. I hate when you tell somebody the truth and they don't believe you.
And they say
I hate when you tell them the truth and they don't believe you. Yes. Now I got to lie. But I told them the truth the first time.
I'm going to get asked that question about 3 more times today. Watch.
You might, but, she...
You're going to be gone
by
You know
then.
what?
Bring a son back. I'm sick of her already. All right, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Yeah, the gambling things have slowed down. There's been some pressure, and lawmakers didn't think, but they're starting to get pressure not to expand gambling. And so we even had people that said in 96 when we voted you can have local options or not, it could not come back up. Now, I think Tangipahoa Parish has got to go and have local option vote to bring in a casino. I mean, this whole thing is just crazy. Once again, you want to gamble? I know businesses that have gambling. That's fine. I'm not even talking about you. What's done is done. But what I'm talking about is just, hey, this ain't the expansion of gambling. Yes, it is. Call it what it is. And then go in, sell it, and pass it, and let's move on. Just move on, okay? But don't sit here and snore us with, it's going to bring in tax revenue, and now you want to raise taxes. I guarantee there's not a community and I'm in a lot of communities in this state. There's not a community with somebody listening to me that has gambling. I don't care if it's video poker or riverboat casinos or the little casinos that we got in the stores. That their community did not raise taxes in the last 15, 20 years. There may be one out there, but I'd like to know who it is. So we got all the gambling proceeds and we got all the money. As C.B. Ferguson said, the ones that will be hung on this money is going to be the local governments. And it is. C.B. was right again. But so what I think is, what I think's happened, this is just my opinion, I think some of these legislators, or senators in this case, Ronnie Casino Johns is still hustling his votes. Now, there's a couple other problems. African-American senators like Karen Carter Nutted Up Peterson. She expressed anger over learning that the three riverboat casinos have fallen short of meeting goals of contracting with minority-owned businesses. By the way, Brandon, I don't know if this may be going on a while, and I don't watch as much TV. There's a show called Blackish.
Yes, I do know that.
And I looked at the people that were playing, and most of them are black actors.
Hence the title Blackish.
Well,
yes.
I wonder if they're going to have one called Whitish.
Nope.
No Whitish shows?
Nope, that's Racist Moon.
It is?
That's
okay.
racist.
I'm just kind of curious. Yep. Can it be brownish? I mean,
that one might pass.
Okay, I'm just kind of curious.
Yep.
I just saw Blackish. I said, huh? In this day and time?
Oh, especially in this day and time.
I thought, wow. I hope they don't come out with a whitish one. Whew, that'd be rough. All right. Also, several African-American senators, led by State Senator Troy Carter of New Orleans, was withheld their support on the bill because Ronnie John had a no vote on the increase of the minimum wage. Carter's Senate bill fell 3 votes short of passage, 17-21 on March 27th. Carter chose not to hear his bill on Wednesday. So, Blackish. I'm still, wow. Of course, we've been watching stuff like that for a long time. That's the changing of the culture. It's amazing. I had somebody ask me the other day when they're going to have White History Month. I said, hell if I know. I mean, I don't make up those rules. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. By the way, folks, you want to hear some great news? I love reporting great news. That's why I like to talk to businesses. Always good news. That's why we thank Sirius Technology and our friends at Cummins. Y'all want to hear some really good news? Do you know on Monday, May 7th, Mitch Landrieu will not be the mayor of New Orleans anymore? New Orleans may have a chance now. They may possibly have a chance to come out of the problems they had there with the economy and education and the inner city problems. Mitch Landrieu will not be the mayor anymore on May 7th. That ought to be good news for the people in New Orleans, the good news for people in Louisiana, good news for everybody all over this country. Now, the bad news is he wants to be president, and he ran a city into the ground. Jeff Crouere has a piece on it I'm going to share with you when we get back. The days of his term ends 30 years in the political office. 30 years of running, well, not running the city, but he ran the state for a while as well. By the way, do you know he voted for Confederate license plates? When he gets all out there on the statues and writing a book on racism, do you know he voted for Confederate license plates? That's Mitch Landrieu. Wouldn't make it up, folks. We'll be back. Hello, welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Trouble has entered the room. How y'all all? Welcome back. All right. As you know, on the Moon Griffon Show, we love doing the joke of the week. Miss Janet Terrio. By the way, his good-looking son who caused no trouble when he comes in here was here yesterday. And so Janet's going to stick in here with the joke of the week. But the funny thing about it is, when they told me he came from you, I'm still trying to figure out what part of you is in that kid.
He even apologized for something he didn't do.
No, he was apologizing for his mom's mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Boy, I tell you what, I may never get another phone call sent to me again.
No more messages taken from Moon Griffon. Yeah. Don't even call in.
All right, joke of the week. Go ahead before we go to the calls.
I don't know what was wrong with my television last night. I was getting C-SPAN and the Home Shopping Network on the same station, and I actually bought a congressman.
That's perfect for my program. That must be how that works now.
Yeah.
That must be how that works. All right,
It's an accident.
we appreciate it. Tell your son hi for us. We're not going to talk to you. You're not getting nothing right by this program. All right. You can forward that email you got on her. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a line. Moon, I understand Greg Tarver's wife has a supply business for casinos in Shreveport and Bossier. Why not? Man, that's a vote you can count on every time. Man, Tarver's an Alario, Edwin Edwards disciple, man. That's the guy. Why did you still have what he said about taxes? I don't know if you
Greg Tarver?
Yeah, remember the great Senator Tarver was down in the States screwing it up one time for 30 years, and he came back to screw it up a little bit more. He must have, I don't know if what he needed, but I'm sure
I got a few
something.
of them. I got his comments on the shutdown, the comments on the minimum wage, and the comment on being in people's back pocket.
Back pocket is the one I want. This is Senator Greg Tarver at Shreveport.
Where do you stand? Some would say that Greg Tarver's in John Bel Edwards' back pocket. Disagree?
Well, let me say this to you. I am in the people's back pocket.
We know.
His back pocket's not big enough to hold me. But
by the way,
cut.
I want to start all over again. This is Senator Greg Tarver. He's in your back pocket. The back pocket's not big enough to hold. He's taking every penny you can get. He wants to increase them taxes, baby.
Where do you stand? Some would say that Greg Tarver's in John Bel Edwards' back pocket. Disagree?
Well, let me say this to you. I am in the people's back pocket. His back pocket's not big enough to hold me. But at the same time that he's trying to raise money for people in the state of Louisiana so we'd not have to cut services to the poor and to the needy. We have to raise the taxes. I don't like taxes. I have to pay the taxes just like everyone else.
He sounds like Rob Shaw. I hate raising taxes. Boy, don't he sound like that's Greg Tarver? What a joke. By the way, Jim Beam out again. Once again, I just love Mr. Beam. He needs to retire so bad. Deputy Press Secretary for Bel Edwards. Budget needs major overhaul. He said the $27 billion state budget. Brandon, the first few lines. Stop right there. It's $30 billion. He missed it by $3 billion already. Okay. Here's my favorite line that they like to use, Brandon. Hold up. I just read it. Where'd it go? Oh, golly. Let me find this, man. This is classic of people like Jim Beam who could care less about the truth. He said it again, that Bel Edwards inherited a budget from Bobby Jindal, and he voted for 6 of the 8 man's budgets from Bobby Jindal. He voted for 6 of the 8 budgets, and he keeps saying he inherited it from Bobby Jindal. He voted for 6 of the 8. These people in the press, like this guy, he loves Jay Darden. Jay Darden tells him we got a $10 billion surplus. He'd buy it. He'd believe it. He would not even beg an eye. He would not bat an eye. Not bat one eye if Jay Darden told him we had $10 billion surplus. He'd write that. That is right here. Bel Edwards inherited a $2 billion deficit. Here it is. Edwards inherited a $2 billion deficit. Inherited it. He voted for it. Jim could care less if he tells the people in Lake Charles the truth. He could care less. He doesn't care if y'all know the truth. He just wants his angle put in there. He's also showing, USA Today said we had one of the lowest taxes in the country. Folks, we're not low taxed. We're high tax compared to what we make. We really are. And the fees and the sales tax and insurance, automobile insurance, car, all that stuff we're way out of proportion. Way out of Jim don't care. Jim only cares if money comes out the right side of your pocket. Out the left side, he doesn't care. But this is Beam doing it up again. I could show you where you realize per capita, local and state government, we spend more money per person than anybody in the South. Jim couldn't see that if it hit him in the face. Jim doesn't talk about how we lost 200 jobs from February to February. Jim doesn't talk about the jobs created in Mississippi. Jim doesn't talk about the jobs created in Texas, Alabama, Jim doesn't talk about that. Jim doesn't talk about the spending problem. Jim doesn't talk about the jobs and out-migration. Why? Because he gets his talking points from Jay Darden, the co-governor. I'm embarrassed for the great people in Lake Charles area to read his mess. I'm sure some of you people have seen the change over the last 10 years. Let's go to phone lines. We go to Jimmy Caddo Parish. How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing all right, Moon. My comment is whenever you raise the minimum wage, you lose buying power and you lose jobs. Because in California, they raised the minimum wage so high that they got the whole McDonald's and Burger Kings are working by one man. Everything else is computerized.
Wow.
Same thing's going to happen here.
They gotta have people, but it's no doubt. As I was watching a report the other night, how robots and being able to do things with robots and computer and technology will knock out the average person having a job. That's a fact. It will.
And the more they raise the minimum wage, the more computerized they're going.
Well, if we realize that the minimum wage is exactly what it is, it's entry level. It's normally for kids and people that are maybe not educated trying to learn a trade. Minimum wage was never meant for somebody to make minimum wage and say, well, I'm happy with this and I'll get a raise every few years. That's not what the minimum wage was all about. It's also a false hope to believe that the economy will rise because minimum wage goes up. That's like saying.
No, it brings the economy down.
Well, it's like saying this report that the Department of Health and Hospitals paid LSU, who runs the hospitals, to tell people that Medicaid is economic development. And people like Jim Beam and the Advocate and the Times-Picayune and Greg Hillman, they write that crap as being true, and none of it's true. It's not even close to being true. But they write it, and you can't expand government and call it economic development. It just doesn't work that way.
Right. The government, all it does is spend money it doesn't have.
It spends. It spends our money that we don't have.
Right. Like I say, it doesn't have it, so we got to try to support it. And when it gets to where we can't support it, they still go up and want more taxes. Absolutely. I got to run more. Nice talking with you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No. What happens is they overspend. They overspend. They come to us, so they overtax. That crap ends one day. I want y'all to remember all the people that overtax, like Greg Tarver. Greg Tarver was some honesty in there. And Greg Tarver said, I'm in your back pocket. Your big pocket ain't big enough to handle me. He's right. I don't have near the money Greg Tarver wants to take. Not even close. All right, quick break. More to come. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. We'll be right back. It's going to be a great event, a lot of fun for a lot of people. We'll hear from one of their spokesmen. We were hoping to get him on today, and I don't know if that's going to happen, Brandon. We don't have enough time unless they squeeze in. All righty. Great news, as I said. Mitch Landrieu gone from New Orleans on May 7th. I mean, if I'm in New Orleans, I'm setting up a party. I can't wait to go. And a place known for partying, I'm partying. The whole state ought to party, though, really. Failed mayor, failed in almost everything he touched. Economics, education, roads, jobs, businesses. Just one failure after another. He failed with the pumps. But anyway, Jeff Crouere, you can go to their website. I think it's Bayou Buzz. I think go to BayouBuzz.com and probably find this article. Crouere to New Orleans Landrieu, goodbye and good riddance. Thankfully, Landrieu's will come to an end on May 7th, and it cannot happen soon enough. He's been in public life for 30 years. It'll be the first time he hadn't had a public job in 30 years. Never had a real one. And he wants to be president. Here it is. His 8 years as mayor seemed like eternity for many New Orleans residents. Under Landrieu, crime has increased, while the NOPD has declined significantly. His interest in creating social programs to deal with crime has not worked. Despite midnight basketball programs and NOLA for Life initiatives, New Orleans remains one of the murder capitals of the nation. This is the guy that lives down there. His leadership on the Sewage and Water Board, abysmal. and it led to diminished pumping capacity that created a massive flood from a moderate rainstorm last August. 5-inch rain flooded the city. Mitch Landrieu, boy, what a, can't wait for this man to do what he did to New Orleans to do to the United States of America. While the city was being overwhelmed in floodwaters, Landrieu refused to leave an Aspen Institute conference. His interest in hobnobbing outweighed his interest in serving his constituents. In recent weeks, he's generated plenty of national publicity in his book tour from a clueless liberal media outlets. None of the show hosts bothered to question the mayor about the real problems in New Orleans. No, they're more interested in what he's going to say about race. This is a guy who voted for Confederate license plates. I have no problem with Confederate license plates. He voted for it, but he's Mr. Righteous now. They just allow him to spot his nonsense about fighting white supremacy and the legacy of racism by removing priceless historic monuments. Why did he vote for the license plate, Confederate license plate? Such a brave fighter for the black man. All this racism going on. You know how many votes between his daddy, him, and Mary Landrieu that they used in the black community? Absolutely used them. Most of them are still poor, uneducated, but they live in them. Landrieu's can live high on a hog and fly anywhere in the world and do what they want, but boy, they helping the black man. What a joke. What a hypocrite. What a fool. This guy's a joke. New Orleans could put anybody there to be better. Anybody. And I think they just did. His battle against monuments and those who supported historical preservation in New Orleans was an egomaniac request to generate headlines and create support among members of the national media and the Democrat Party. There's no doubt that's what he did. $2 million. He did not bring about racial unity in New Orleans, neither did Obama in the United States. He created racial division, so did Barack Obama. And then they try to blame it on Tea Party. The sad thing is that he's proud of his record of promoting hate while not providing public safety. That's true. This guy's boasting about a record that has part of our state last. Right there, Mary. It's just unbelievable. In the area of economic development, his record's poor, very poor. In his 8 years in office, there have been very few announcements of major employers moving to New Orleans. In addition, he's not redeveloped plenty of the potential viable projects. For example, this old Six Flags amusement park in New Orleans East remains an eyesore today. He said he was going to get rid of that first day. Did he do it? No, he's a politician. Under Landrieu, rents have risen, while taxes and fees have skyrocketed. And by the way, they have gambling. Don't forget they got gambling, Brandon. It is very difficult to afford to live in New Orleans for middle and income workers. While those who are employed are finding it challenging to survive in New Orleans, it's truly dangerous for African-American men who suffer from an astronomically high unemployment rate and are the ones most likely to be the victims of crimes in the city. See, if blacks would look at what the Democrats, Obama to Mitch Landrieu to married to the daddy, hell, blacks, they got you to vote for him. They got the black leaders who deliver the votes. Those people probably made some money. Not the blacks. Cruel is pointing out the black men are still struggling. Poor neighborhoods throughout New Orleans are littered with blight, drugs, poverty, and horrible street conditions. That's what the Democrats want us all to live under one day. 40, 50 years of this. They're not going to change. You let 5 or 7% of the black vote say to hell with the Democrats and move over or don't vote, they done. They're never going to help those people. Mitch Landrieu never helped a black in his life that was poor. Never. And he never will. But he used their votes. I kind of drifted right there, folks. Democrat primary will not be fooled by Landrieu's high-powered support of his progressive rhetoric, but will examine his failed record as mayor of New Orleans. The only question is, did Mitch Landrieu make New Orleans a better place to live and create a safer and more harmonious city? And the answer is, Jeff says no, I say heck no. Mitch Landrieu failed New Orleans. Mitch Landrieu has failed the state. By the way, did I mention he voted for Confederate license plates, Brandon? If I didn't, let me mention it again. Confederate license plates. Although he's the champ. He knows racism. He knows the Southern white racism in the state and the country. I mean, for Landrieu to be stepping out of office in New Orleans is a beautiful thing. Not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. and leaving the state to go run for president, I wish him the best of luck. But I hope he touts what he really did to the people of New Orleans and to the minorities in the inner cities. He used their vote just like Mary did and only enriched himself just like Mary Landrieu did. Mary Landrieu lives in Washington or Virginia in a $2 or $3 million home. She can eat the finest restaurants and go on any vacation she wants, and she got there by the black vote. And there are a few people around her black that benefited. But the average person that votes for a Democrat, Mary Landrieu, in the inner cities will never, ever, ever, ever see a benefit. Their ship will never come in. They will never live a prosperous life waiting on some government entity to come bless them, because it doesn't work that way. It never has, and it never will. Mitch Cruer, and I know Jeff nailed this. This is a grand slam of an article here. This is a grand slam of an article here by Cruer. You can check him out on BayouBuzz.com. You need to pull this article up and read it for yourself. Matter of fact, Brandon, I may just have to send this and put it on my website, on my Facebook. It's that good. It's that good. All right, folks, we got to take a quick break at Hickson Autoplex tomorrow. Sell a few vehicles and talk a little politics with a real business owner in this state. And the calls and all that will be welcome as well. So we'll take a break. Don't forget to go vote. There's elections taking place, tax elections all over the state. I'm going to vote right now. I'm not going to tell you how I voted. See you tomorrow.